Hello friends, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. Our lesson today is about the transition. And before we start the lesson, don't forget to subscribe our channel, click on the ring button and like this video. And let's start our lesson. First, if we have this shape in front of us to make our practical lesson on it. So here, let's write our property, which is the transition. So this is this shape. The transition requires us three major things, which are the transition duration, transition property, and the transition delay. And I will explain it one by one. So the first one, let's write the transition duration. Transition duration is a duration that the transition process will take to continue. So let's determine the duration, for example, 5 seconds. So now we determine the transition duration, and let's determine the transition property and learn the transition property. Transition property. What is the transition property? Transition property is the properties that you will determine to be done through this transition. So after we make changes on it, I will determine this one. So you will learn this one when we make changes on it actually. So let's use the transition delay. We have the transition delay. So transition delay is 1 second. Transition delay is 1 second. So transition delay says after this duration the process will start. So let's make changes on it. So we have this one, the TR, and after that I'll make the hover on it. So on the hovering, so make these changes for me. So now we will say on hovering, do these changes for me. So on hovering, make the width 500 pixels and the height 300 pixels, and then the color, let's change to the red. I want these changes by the hovering and by using this transition. So now let's hover this one, let's hover the shape. And you notice by hovering this shape and by the duration of 5 seconds and delaying after hovering 1 second, the width changes to 500 pixels and the height changes to 300 pixels and the color of this word changes to the red color. And this is how the transition works. And now you have to learn what is the transition property. Transition property are the properties that you will determine to be done through this transition. So now I will determine the width, and after that I will determine the height. So now I determine only the width and the height. So the only width and the height will be done through this transition. And the color will change directly, will not be done through the transition. How you notice when I make the hovering on it, the color will directly change to the red. How you notice when I make hovering, it directly changes to red. and it's not be done by the transition. And this is what is the transition property. And to learn the transition delay more clearly, let's change the transition delay to the 5 seconds. So after hovering on the shape by the 5 seconds, the process will start. So this is what the transition delay means. And this was our lesson for today. I hope every information are clear for you, and I hope you enjoy the lesson. And don't forget to subscribe our channel, click on the ring button, like this video, and share the video with your friends. And thank you so much for listening. See you in the next lesson.